ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, good evening, everybody. Now I am requesting Ayushi, please start the presentation.
Yes, sir. Is my screen visible to everyone? Please kindly confirm.
Yes.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So our today's practicum is describing reading motivation questionnaire and the case interpretation.
Okay, Ayushi, please continue.
So today our objective is to describe the reading motivation questionnaire and to examine reading motivation pattern of two cases. I would be giving you a little bit of brief introduction about what actually this reading motivation is talking about. So first we will be starting with the motivation, that what actually motivation means, from where this term has originated. As we all are aware, it has come from the term mover, that means to move. As per the Morgan and King in 1975, as mentioned, that motivation refers to the states within a person or animal that drive behavior towards some goal. So a driving state within the organism, the behavior aroused and directed by this state, and the goal towards which behavior is directed. These are the 3 points which are considered basics into the motivation definition. We would be discussing two types of motivation basically, that is the extrinsic motivation and the intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation can be explained as a motivation to perform an activity to earn a reward or to avoid a punishment, whereas intrinsic motivation is a motivation to perform an activity for its own sake or the personal enhancement or the reward. Now, I would like to tell you a little bit about what actually this reading motivation is. So reading motivation is the process to put much effort on reading. This is framed with one's appraisal of relationship between the reading and the reading outcome. Motivation to read is directed by 4 intrinsic and 3 extrinsic motives. So intrinsic reading motives, that is application, knowledge, achievement. I have to correct this. Instead of 4 intrinsic, this is 3 intrinsic motivations and the 4 extrinsic motives. Intrinsic reading motives would include the application, knowledge, achievement, and another one in extrinsic motivation is affiliation, recognition, aesthetic, and harm avoidance. So a little bit about the test description. So this is a paper pencil self-assessment test, which includes measures of reading motivation. It includes 42 statements with 6 items for 7 domains. That is 6 items, 7 per each domain. So there are overall 7 domains, 7 dimensions with 1 anchor question. For each anchor, there are 2 statements, options A or B. Subject is to choose only 1 statement. Each statement is related to one of the dimensions of reading motivation. The lowest score for each dimension is 0 and the highest score is 6. As I have rightly mentioned to you earlier also that there are overall 6 items, hence 0 is the lowest score, whereas 6 is the highest. It takes approximately half an hour to answer all the questions. I have taken out a little bit, a small screenshot for your reference from the questionnaire. That is,
Ayushi, instead of the dimension, please you take domain, okay? Because the dimensions
okay,
is
sir.
Intrinsic, extrinsic
Okay,
is the
sir. I will.
dimension. Just to tell,
Okay.
that's the domain, okay?
Okay, sir. I will do so. For the domains. As sir has mentioned, instead of dimensions, we would be using the domains term. So like, for example, the first item states that on promotion to the new class of the two book, which would you read first? The subject has to choose any one of the two statements, that is the application of arithmetic in daily life or description of animals of different countries. So as per I have mentioned earlier, that one is the anchor statement and these two are the options available to it. So anchor statement is the one that is on promotion to the new class of the two books, which would you read first? And these are the two options available. Similarly, second item is also stating the same. If you are in the habit of using your school library, why do you do so? So I get large number of new information from different books of the library, or if I study there, teachers feel happy. So it's likewise, there are 42 statements talking about this in this manner. The seven domains.
Ayushi, one sec. Yeah, you go to the earlier one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I am requesting Onusri, please you tell me this description of animals of different countries and application of arithmetic in daily life. It the A measures what and B measures what?
A measures
Okay.
I think it is working memory.
Okay, B measures what?
Description of animals of different countries.
Achha, okay. After telling the next slide, then you can understand. Okay, you go to the next slide. Ayushi, go to the next slide.
So shall I continue?
Yes.
Okay. So these are the 7 domains I was talking about earlier. So this application, knowledge, achievement, then aesthetic, affiliation, recognition, and the harm avoidance. The above 3 are under the intrinsic and the later 4 are into the extrinsic motives. Application states that motivation to read for applying the knowledge in reality. Knowledge. Motivation to read for understanding of different information. Achievement. Motivation to read to master the different tasks. Aesthetic. Motivation to read well-designed pictured books. Affiliation. Motivation to read for getting others' love. Recognition. Motivation to read for obtaining praise or rewards. Harm avoidance. Motivation to read to avoid punishment or other negative outcomes. Now, I would be talking about items. So as I have already mentioned, that each questions are framed with one anchor and 2 alternative statements. An anchor represents some life events related to reading behavior of students. Some criteria are followed to evaluate the items. Events should not be repeated. Second, event should match the questions of specific event. Third, the event should cover regular academic lifestyle activities of students, namely visiting library, promotion to classes, answering to difficult questions, home study, exhibiting creative work, academic tour, etc. The test retests reliability of reading motivation questionnaire with 72 students within 8 months of interval range from 0.7 to 0.97, and the convex alpha for reading motivation questionnaire ranged from 0.61 to 0.64. This is actually a picture taken from the original work, which stating about the correlation, the reliability. It is drawn from the t-test and the correlation coefficients. Sorry. And so the data were collected from government and government undertaking schools in West Bengal. So the concurrent validity was tested by correlating reading motivation questionnaire with motivation reading questionnaire by Wickfield and Guthrie, 1997. Predictive validity of the test was examined by correlating the data with academic achievement. Hierarchical forward estimation was followed in order to identify the set of strong reading motivation variable in predicting academic achievement. Further, this is actually a very pioneer study Sir has drawn, that is a correspondence analysis. So this correspondence analysis has been used to investigate the magnitude and the substantial nature of the association between the rows and the column variable. And it showed that there are two product clusters. One cluster includes the intrinsic reading motives, that is application, knowledge, and achievement. And another one is extrinsic motivation, that is affiliation, recognition, harm avoidance, and aesthetic. I would also like to show you the table, how the frequency percentage distribution of reading motivation was drawn. And this picture is also showing the clusters, how these correspondence analysis has showed the two clusters formed. One is for the intrinsic and other one is for the extrinsic motivation. So these are the norms which are from the T-scores. So I guess, can we move towards to the data or anything else?
Okay. Okay, here you will find that is the T-score. So what is the formula of the T-score? Who can tell? Archana? Priya? Can anybody tell me that is what is the formula of T-score?
Sir, it's
Yes, sir. It's a
sir.
10. I'm sorry.
No, please.
Yes, sir. So it's a G. I mean 10 Z. I mean G score plus 50.
Wow, very good. Okay. So if it is 50 plus 10, okay.
Yes, sir.
And the Z score, okay, fine. Then you will get, that is the T value. For example, in the domain, if your score is for the application 29.16, that means very poor. Okay. And if it is 43.15, then it will be low average. 50.14, that is average. Outstanding is 64.13. Okay. So whatever the score is there, based upon that, that score is converted into the standard score. After that, we converted the data. The standard score has been converted to the T-score. And this is the mean and the standard deviation. And the mean also indicates that is the data. It is 3.98 mean for the application motive. Knowledge motive 3.93. And achievement motive 3.47. That means the students from whom I collected the data, their intrinsic motivation higher than the extrinsic motivation. Okay. So the extrinsic motivation you will find very poor, that is in harm avoidance 1.66. Another one is the affiliation 2.27. Another one is the aesthetic 2.53. So they are the basically extrinsic motivating factors. So from whom I collected data, they are relatively better in case of the intrinsic motivation. Is it clear or any question? Okay, no question. So now you go to the next one.
So now we have to jump to the data. If you
Yes, go to the data. whether all the students have received the data. Ayushi? Hello, Rupali.
I have already shared that in the Google Classroom.
Okay, so I'm requesting all of you, please you download the data from the Google Classroom. I am requesting all of you, please you download the data from the Google Classroom. Okay. Now you follow what Ayushi is presenting.
So
Okay.
I guess, so shall we wait for them to
No.
download, or I shall start?
No. You start. Because you have only the 5 minutes time.
So everyone, you have received the data similar to this?
Ayushi, I haven't
No,
received anything
I
yet.
haven't. Yeah, we didn't receive, I think.
Yeah, we didn't actually receive this.
Yes, we didn't receive.
We did receive your assignment on normal probability curve, but we didn't receive this data.
But it has already was delivered. Okay, let me do it once again. Just give me 5 minutes.
It is there in the Google Classroom. You go to the classwork option in the middle. You will get that by the name of Practicum 1 above paper 5.
Rupali, is it there now?
Yeah, it's there.
I didn't get it. I mean, the last is paper 5. There is nothing above paper 5.
Yeah, above paper 5, there is just one Zoom link, nothing more than that.
Yes, we didn't receive.
Okay, try refreshing it.
Rupali, I just refreshed. There is nothing above than paper 5.
Okay, strange. Okay. Maybe Ayushi, you can send it once again.
Okay, Rupali.
Has everyone got?
Please check, please.
Yes, now it's there.
Yes,
Okay,
I
now
get it.
Maybe there was some network,
There
or I
is some
don't know what
issue.
happened, because I and Rupali could see in the Google Classroom, but you couldn't. So there might be some. Okay, let me get back to the. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, Ayushi, visible.
Okay, so you have down. Sir, do you want to continue? Shall I continue?
Sure. You continue.
Okay, so now, as you can see that we have this of data, that is there are 20 individuals. These are their total scores on these domains: the application, knowledge, achievement, affiliation, recognition, aesthetic, and harm avoidance. As I have already told you earlier that we have divided into the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Though we have the norms table, we would be doing the two things, as the objective was to to have a case interpretation of two cases and to describe the reading motivation questionnaire. We have already described it, and now we would be dealing with how it could be divided into the intrinsic and the extrinsic motivation. Furthermore, the norms I have already provided to you are domain specific. As you have already seen that, I would be showing you the presentation once again when you would be doing the analysis for the norms part. So first we will be trying to do it by the extrinsic and the intrinsic motivation. So can anyone of you help me in deciding what were the extrinsic motivations, if anyone remember, or what were the intrinsic motivations, motives, components, the domains?
In extrinsic, there is application, knowledge, and achievement.
Yeah, thank you so much. So as we all are aware that we are doing for the intrinsic, so that would be an intrinsic total. It should be sum. Now I would be going it down so that it will be copied. Similarly, we would be doing it for the extrinsic. Again, the sum. Achha, can anyone tell me what would be the highest score for intrinsic?
15.
18.
How come 18?
Because it's 6 for every every.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So similarly, for the extrinsic, the highest score would be 24. So from here, you can see that these are the scores out of 18, and these are the scores out of I'm sorry, out of the 24. Is it clear to everyone? I hope you have done so far.
Ayushi, can you repeat?
What I have to repeat?
Yes. What was the question you asked and the
Achha.
answer? Yeah.
I was asking what would be the total score, or what would be the maximum score for the intrinsic?
Okay. Why it was 18? Because I did not get it.
Achha. See, because as I have told you earlier, that for every domain, 6 is the highest score. And intrinsic is covering with the 3 domains, that is application, knowledge, and achievement. The 6 is 18. Okay, now you got it? Okay, great. Now, so you have completed this much. Now what we have to do, because we have to compare the make the cases interpretation. So for that, we have to calculate the standard scores. So how to calculate standard scores? How can we calculate the standard scores?
Score minus mean by SD.
Score minus mean by SD. So what are the scores and what are the mean? So first we have to find out the mean. So I am doing it for the because I am giving you the example for the intrinsic and the extension, that is the cluster wise. You can do it for the domain wise also, like for each and every, because the norms would be provided to you or only or for that domain wise. But why I'm doing is that so that you can get an idea how to do for the clubbing of that. So for that mean, so I am using, this is for mean intrinsic, I should write, right? No? Mean intrinsic. For mean, we would be using the formula average. I hope you all are aware about it. If not, you can just type AVE equals to AVERAGE and then put in a bracket. So here intrinsic, we would be taking the average of this for all these 20 individuals. So the mean is 13.1. Now, as I forgot who mentioned that the formula. So for this SD, we would be calculating SD for intrinsic as well. So for SD is equals to STDEV. You have to write just this. Can you see that? STEDEV?
Yes.
Yeah. So now again, I would be putting it to here and just dragging it towards the last. So that's how the standard deviation is being calculated. Now, as one of you have mentioned that it is that if we are supposed to calculate the standard scores, that is a Z score, that is mean minus X minus M upon sigma, that is score minus M upon sigma. Right. So I would be doing the same procedure here as well. Standard score, intrinsic. So that every time I can get the result copied, that's why I'm using the brackets and the formula. I won't be using the formula actually. I would be using like clicking that, and every time these two would be same. That's why I'm writing this. That is minus 13.1 bracket close divided by 1.58612. So this is the standard scores for the intrinsic. Is it clear? Now for the 20 individuals, the standard scores would be like this. Is it clear to everyone, or you have any doubt?
Yes, Sarshi, clear.
Oh, thank you so much. See, because I cannot see any of you because my screen is, I have presenting my screen. So please let me know once. Okay. So now,
One thing I
just
should,
to go slow because like there are so many people now. So just a little slow so that they can grasp.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm
That's
really sorry. No, so shall I repeat the process again? Or it is done?
I have a one question I want to ask. When you were calculating the mean and SD of intrinsic, you selected the entire row intrinsic from E2 to E21, right?
Yeah.
From the data from 13 to 11, you selected the entire row. The same you did for SD intrinsic?
Because see why we are doing so, because mean is of group. है ना? तो हम group हमारा intrinsic का group, these are the 20 individuals who are making the sample. Right, these are the 20 whom we have administered a test. Though there were more than 1,000 of number, I have just selected these 20, the sample. So for the sample group, the mean is this. So the mean, how we calculate the mean, the total score upon the number of observation. So the similar way, that is the total scores, that is the totaling this whole and dividing it by 20. So instead of doing it like that having a sum and then make a divide, I just put the formula average, the function average. We have this in our Excel. So what you have to do, you just have to put equals to sign and then write AVERAGE. If you just write AVER, then you can get a drop down for that same. And then you just select one and then press shift and then you can just go to the down and then enter one.
Because I did not see you going down till there. That's why I was confused.
Achha, okay. Okay. So you can see that the formula is here. Even I see you might not be if you are not able to do so like going down, you can just quickly write the cell number. Okay. Put a colon between and write the cell number. Like if I could do like that also, that E2 colon E21. Okay, this would also give me the range for so same. Similarly, I did for the SD, the standard deviation was calculated, and similarly on the same grounds, the standard scores were also calculated. Is it clear to everyone?
Can you just repeat the standard score formula?
Standard score formula is the same. That is what we call it Z score. That is X minus M upon sigma. That is, X is here our score minus mean divided by SD. So what were our score? Score was 13 minus mean divided by this huge value of 1.56. So I have applied this for 1 and then I copied this formula for all so that I don't have to write it every time.
Ashi, can you write that formula in one cell just for the reference?
You can see here. Can you see?
Yes. Okay, it is E2 minus.
See, E2 is
SD.
because first individual. It is showing that it is because of the first individual. Okay, the first individual, then minus the mean score, that is 13.1. I have put a bracket so that it would be the whole would be divided by our SD. Okay. And then I just copied this formula. So every time you can see the cell number is changed, not mean and SD. Mean and SD would be remain same. The scores would be changing.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
The E4, E5, the cells are changing. Okay.
Okay, Aishi. I'm clear.
Now is it clear? Shall I move? Because I have to show, you will be getting the time to do so because you have to upload the file.
The formula for SD?
The formula, sir, for SD is equals to, you just need not to put any formula. You just need to put this function that is equals to STDEV. In the bracket, the cell ranges. Is it clear to everyone? Please tell me, shall I move forward?
Yes.
Okay. So let's calculate the T scores now. T score. I have score. Intrinsic. Can anyone tell me again what was the T score formula? How we can convert the Z scores into T scores?
Z score into 10 plus 50.
So as you have mentioned, I would be doing the same. I see, for every time you have to put a formula, you have to, if you are making it a formula, you have to put a equal to sign. Okay, so that is equals to into the bracket. What was that?
Z score into 10 plus 50.
Z score into 10, bracket close, plus 50. So this is my T score. Now I would be just dragging this towards the end. Can you see the T scores?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's do the similar process for the extrinsic, or you can do it by yourself. Shall I do it, or you can do it by yourself?
Can do it.
Okay, you can do it. So now let's so you can just do it. You have a time, you can do it. Till the time I am also doing it, you can also do so that we can have a look if it is right or wrong, and then we'll see which individual is we would be interpreting the two cases then. Okay. And I'm on mute. If you want to ask something, you can just let me know. Till the time, you can just do this intrinsic and extrinsic both. Are you done? Please let me know. Domains of extrinsic are affiliation, recognition, aesthetic, and harm avoidance. Shall I move forward?
Yes.
Okay. So now you can see that we have got the T scores for the same. So can anyone identify here that where the people are, the individual is very high on intrinsic and very low on extrinsic? Can you identify the individual? Anyone?
The last individual has extremely low intrinsic and high extrinsic, no?
Yes.
What was your question again?
I just asked you where you can see the largest difference between the intrinsic
I
and
found it in the
Number
last.
16.
Number Q, that is my individual Q. That is
See, we can do it by just doing a little bit of, instead of going further, now I'm just using this cell in between. So you can just do it simply by doing so that the difference you can calculate. That is simply, you can just do this equals to, then this minus the T score of this. Bracket closed. You got this value. So can anyone tell me, if we are getting the difference values in minus, what does it mean? The individual is high on intrinsic or extrinsic?
On extrinsic.
extrinsic.
Why so?
Because there are more domains for extrinsic.
No. I have put in the formula, that is T score of intrinsic minus T score of extrinsic. Right? There are more number of domains. That's the reason we are using the standard scores. No? The items are different. It's the same thing that when we are comparing two different units, so we have to bring them onto the same podium to comparison. That's the reason we brought them the standard score and then converted them into T scores. So similarly, you can see that there is a difference of 13 minus 39. Can you see this? You were talking about this individual only, right? Like similarly here, it is also the same in 14, that is individual M and O. So in your, when you would be uploading the assignment file, because I am giving you only a demo, so you would have to upload the file and you have to mention which individual you found high on intrinsic and low on intrinsic, extrinsic, etc. And how you found it out, how you find it out. Okay. Is it clear to everyone?
I'm not clear.
What it is not clear? Please.
Why?
Please.
What is mine? What does minus signifies? I'm not clear.
See, how come we can get a minus only when we have the extrinsic values are high? That's the only case now when we are. Hello.
Yeah.
No, this is the simple we could inference that if we are getting the minus, because I use the formula of that T score of intrinsic minus the T scores of extrinsic. If I would have done the vice versa, then I would be interpreting it into the other way. Right?
All right.
Okay. So now let me, do you want me to tell you how to do so for the each domain also, or you can do so by yourself?
Can you tell us for one domain?
Acha, okay. For one domain, I can do so. The similar format we would be using. Okay, so let me take this harm avoidance because it is very near to me. Okay, it is. So I am doing for this harm avoidance only. So it's the same thing. We would be calculating the mean because we have. Acha, can you see my screen now? The presentation.
Yes, yes, we can see that.
The presentation also.
Yes.
So you can see the norms are here for the this domain wise. Okay, so we would be doing same.
Aisha, I can see the norms.
Presentation we can't see. We are able to see your Excel sheet.
So that's what I was asking. Wait. Now is it visible? Hai na?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have T scores as per the domains only. So you have to make the interpretation of the domain wise in your assignment. I would be making a T
Ayushi, possibly they cannot understand. Why? Because the score minus mean means 3.98. And the SD means 1.43. Is it clear? For the application domain, the mean is 3.98 and SD is 1.43. This is the standard. And based upon that, they can get the T-score and then they can interpret. That is whether the individual is outstanding or very poor, whatever the status. So please do write down somewhere 3.98 and 1.43. Now you go to the application.
Sir. For every time to switch, I have to make this stop sharing. Is the Excel sheet visible?
Yes, it's visible.
So now similarly, I am doing for the harm avoidance. For the others, you have to do by yourself. So I am.
No. You go for only the application.
It's only for application. Sir, for application, I have to go little back. Here it is now.
That is better.
Okay,
application means 6. So score that is the equal to 6. 6 means which cell? You go to the cell. Yes. Not the average. Equal to average should not be there. Oh. You have to use the mean that I have already given to you. There is a mean and the SD already I have given.
3.98.
Hello, Ayushi.
Mean value 3.
Yes, sir. I was just switching that the presentation. If anyone have the picture, then it's fine.
Mean value 3.98, SD 1.43.
Yes. So you go to this. That means B2, I think. Equal to B2 minus, what is that, Vignesh?
3.98.
3.97.
Bracket close.
It is a score minus mean divided by SD.
1.43.
By SD, 1.43. Then enter. This is the standard score for application. Drag. Then will be the T-score. Into 10. plus 50. Then enter. And now drag it. So this is the application. So what is the result?
So shall I show the presentation even so that everyone?
Because it seems to me that is most of them are very high. Because the minimum data, I think 50, and the maximum is 64.
Sir, the minimum is 29.16 and 64.
No, in your data. Majority is outstanding.
Above
50, that is the average. Few, maybe one or two, maybe in the average category, and another one is the outstanding category. So they are the.
Yes, sir. No, that's true, sir. 64, 57.
So that is the interpretation. But here you will find there is some 43 also. So when it is 43, that means
Below average.
that is the below average. That means you can deal with this particular boy or girl, whatever it might be, the student, because why the application motive is very low.
Yes, sir. So I guess now.
In this manner, you can identify. In this manner, you can identify the students whose reading motivation high and whose reading motivation is low, and what are the underlying reasons.
Okay, sir.
Based upon that, you can provide the school counseling or psychological counseling, whatever the counseling.
But sir, this is only for one domain.
Yeah, but you can go to the next domain, and then again you have to follow the mean and standard deviation of these standards.
Okay.
Same thing in this way. Then you can compare. Okay.
So shall I stop presenting or keep it presenting?
And we have to compare with the norms which are there for the T scores.
Yeah, I have given the norms now.
Yes.
So shall I upload the presentation also for the reference? Or only the norms table to be provided?
Norms.
Sure,
Otherwise,
sir.
they'll be confused. No?
Okay, sir. I will just post a picture for that reference in the GCR. So, sir, can I stop presenting or keep it presenting? As I guess my part is over. I have.
You asked students, you asked all of them whether they can understand or not.
So please, I know I was not so good like sir, but please tell me, was it okay for you to understand?
Now, can anybody tell me why instead of the mean and standard deviation of this current data, that is the 21 data, we are using the other data? Why? Kavita, I think some network problem. Priya?
Sir, I did not get your question. Could you please repeat?
Okay, instead of the mean and standard deviation of this 21 data, we are using the different type of mean and SD that is given by Ayushi. Why?
Sir, because that was the data for the 1,000 people or who were tested. The norm, those were the norms for the people who appeared for this questionnaire, and this is the data of 20. So the mean and SD definitely would be different. We cannot compare both with each other. The data is different. The population is different.
But if we consider this data, then what will happen? And if we consider only this data, this 21 data,
So I think this
that
would not
mean and
be
standard deviation, then what would happen?
this would not be the representative for the entire thing. You won't be able to make appropriate generalizations.
Correct. So that is the norm. Okay, we have to follow the norm because there is a large number of data. That is the population mean and the population standard deviation, not the population mean. That is the original mean and the standard deviation. Maybe it is more than 1,000 like that.
Sir, I have a question. Interesting one.
Sure.
You picked out one person who had a low on application. So that's how we find how to pick people on which we have to provide counseling, and then we can apply some interventions.
Yes. So in this way, you can find out. First, you have to calculate the intrinsic and extrinsic, but not the mean and standard deviation like this. Okay, if you follow this mean and standard deviation, that means within this type of sample, so you are making the comparison. Okay, so it is better not to follow this mean and standard deviation. Rather, you have to follow the mean and standard deviation of that one.
And sir, how do we interpret the mean and standard deviation of extrinsic and intrinsic?
That is, if you find that is the t-score is very high in case of the extrinsic, then you can find out that is okay. This is the result. So you will get application, documentation, some application knowledge and achievement. So if you calculate the mean about these 3 domains, and again the other 4, they are mean, automatically you will get.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and then you can pick it up. That is, the students, you can use it for the screening purpose. In Calcutta, there is one school, and the students means they are 11, 12 students. Okay, they have applied this particular test. Okay, and finally, they told some student told one boy, "Hello, you are not going to the school regularly, right?" And he said, "Yes, madam, but how do you know? You are moving here and there, right?" "Yes, but how do you know?" So on which basis she told it? Who can say?
Sir, I think his intrinsic motivation was low.
Very good. Correct. Since the extrinsic motivation high, that means not interested for reading. Okay. Therefore, that girl can predict the behavior of the boy. So that is the beauty of psychological instrument. Is it clear to all of you or any question?
Clear, sir.
Anusri, Archana,
Yes, sir.
Sebastian. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So Anusri, can you tell me why we have used the standard score?
Because standards, so by using standard score, we can compare the results so that we can infer the population, we can generalize.
Yes, that is the advantage. Why we have added 50? Who can say? Shreya? In Discord, we have added 50. Why?
Oh, that's the standard deviation.
No.
That's the mean.
Mean. And 10 is the standard deviation.
That is the mean. So usually it is a 0, but when you follow the Discord distribution, then the mean will be 50. Correct. So anything, any question, if you have, you can ask me. Otherwise, stop. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear.
So the first practicum is over. Are you happy through this system?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm very happy. It's good. Because
That is good.
everything we studied in our first few lectures, all of it is making sense when we are interpreting and calculating the values.
Thank you.
And also the why we are doing that. Because we have been calculating I do not know about others, but I have been doing this, but now I am very clear about the why. So yes, I'm very happy about it.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you, Ayushi, for your good teaching.
Thank you, sir, for the compliment.
Shoje, today you are able to test yourself. Okay, who you are actually. So I'm requesting all of you, please you open your video and close the.
Purnamada,
Purnamidam, Purnamadachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So Ayushi, please request all of them to open the video.
Yes, please everyone, may I request you all to kindly switch on your camera so that we can have a beautiful picture of us. Kavita, Satya, Rupali, you are not visible.
Kavita, I think some network problem.
Okay.
Shatta Prasad, I do not know.
So everyone please say cheese. Okay, done. Thank you so much. Kavita, you cannot, okay, so, okay, now you can
I think
just put it
Kavita
up.
has some network problem.
Yes, I guess so. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ayushi.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Ayushi, for the wonderful explanation of yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.